This morning we're going to talk just very briefly about the line of the angels that said, "Do not be afraid. You see, I'm bringing you news of great joy for all people. To you born this day in the city of David, the Saviour, who is Messiah, the Lord. And this will be a sign for you." Now, just thinking about that for a minute, that idea of this will be a sign for you. If you were going to advertise Jesus' birth, what would you do? Billboard, maybe? Newsletter? What would you do? Seems to me that at this moment in Bethlehem, God's got this great marketing opportunity in front of him. Right? It's there. It's all in God's hands. It's a blockbuster moment. The waiting of 700 years has come to a close. The silence of the last 400 years has been broken. There's a big opportunity. He could bring out the promotional big guns. But that's not how the story plays out. How does this anointed saving one greet humanity? As a helpless, defenseless baby, born according to Luke in a cattle feed trough, born in squalor, in a shelter fit for animals. Perhaps not that different to how the shepherd's own children had been born. Actually, just by the by, you can tell other people this later. Do you know how Mary and Joseph knew how heavy Jesus was when he was born? They had a way in the manger. Sorry. I told you, you can tell other people this stuff. It's all But the thing is, as we look at this story, sometimes the cultural baggage accrues and we read it without seeing the details. Or we just kind of sanitize it in our own mind. But there's no beautifully decked out nursery for this baby. Not a single Fisher-Price toy inside. The only rattles and noises around this baby, apart from the one the baby is making, are the rattles and noises of the animals whose feed trough is lying. The Saviour, the Lord, the Messiah, born like that. This is as basic as birth gets. And yet the angels tell the shepherds that this ordinary basic scene will be a sign for you. I've got a video that I thought I'd play, or we'll get Rod to play, and then I'll come back and just sort of wrap it up a little bit more.
Have you ever wondered what we might see if we could go back the occasion of time to that very first Christmas? If we could, I imagine the story began in heaven, something like this. God was looking over heaven's balcony one day, shaking his head at all the wrong things people were doing down on earth.
Oh man, this isn't quite how I had migrated Earth. I feel so far away from my kids down there.
What?
It's just hard to be friends with people when you don't know what they're doing. I think it's time.
Time for what, Lord?
Time for us to step in.
Can I raise a army dog? Can you see what listen?
No, I don't think we should an army. Maybe just one person.
What person?
Brilliant! They won't be expecting that!
Lord, we're sending just one person. Let's do someone very powerful and very strong. Does this tell you people down there?
No, they don't have to be strong. They'll be going as newborn baby.
A newborn baby?
Brilliant! They won't be expecting that! Lord, this plan is rather risky. A newborn human baby is small and weak. This baby must be born to people who will protect him. Maybe a great ruler or mighty king.
Actually, I was thinking I could see a dream peasant girl whose heart is beautiful and full of courage.
Brilliant! They won't be expecting that! My lord, I see your plan is to take Earth by surprise. No one will be expecting a newborn baby, born to a humble villager. But what good can a baby do?
This will not just be any baby. I'm sending in the Prince of Heaven in disguise.
The Prince of Heaven, our Prince, your son.
Lord, this is too risky. Sending the prince in disguise as a tiny baby, born not to kings but to humble villagers. Surely our prince cannot be born in a cottage. He must be born in a palace.
You're right. He shouldn't live in my cottage.
You.
He'll be born in a stable. Those who are looking will find him, and his mission will bring all people closer to me, even if they're just really wrong. When the prince is done, nothing will get between him and my love.
Can we leave some clues for the people looking? Like in the stars?
Clues in the stars. Sure, why not? We can make one huge one that points to him.
Can we sing for him?
Yes, can we sing? Please say we can sing.
God looked at their hopeful faces, and his heart was touched by their love for the friends.
Alright, you can sing. But not from the whole world. That would just be weird. And no kings or rulers.
How about we sing for some chicken? That's a lovely job. First, let's could do with some cheering up.
Brilliant. They won't be expecting that.
You know the rest of the story. An angel visited a humble girl with a courageous heart and told her the good news. She will have a baby, and he will be the Prince of Heaven, who would help her to be close to God again. As planned, the baby was born in the stable, about as far from a palace as you can get. A group of wise men noticed some strange clues in the stars. They packed their belongings and followed the star right to a baby. And of course, a bunch of lonely shepherds were guarding their sheep when all of a sudden the sky was lit up by thousands of angels singing. Nobody would ever expect that.
I think it's a very, very cute video. I hope you get a sense of the surprising nature of what Jesus' birth was. That it wasn't something that would be typical. It was surprising. It was unexpected. It was foretold, but people weren't expecting it to happen that way. And I think one reason that we tell this story repeatedly is that it's the story of God who values things that are so ordinary that other people don't notice them. It's the story of the God who relates to ordinary people, people who don't see or would rather forget. See, Jesus welcomes kings too, but first, Jesus was the God of the ordinary. Ordinary stable, ordinary manger, ordinary people. Throughout the ages, people have asked when times get desperate, where is God? And people still ask that. And to some degree, the answer to that question is found in the manger. That an assurance for all time that no time is too dark or too ordinary for God to be there with us. One of the pastor in the States, a guy called Louis Giglio, he said, and I thought it was really quite profound, he said, the miracle of Christmas is that God fed all that we will ever need in a manger. That's what's so surprising about this. At the core of the Christian faith is this belief that God became flesh, that he assumed a human nature and became a man in the form of Jesus. That this man started life as a baby, as we all do. Even those we think of as being born at about 45 years old. I don't know if you've seen that, people around like that. I've come to believe that it's no coincidence that God coming to humanity as a baby. Babies require kindness to survive. They bring out the best in us, even when they test our patience at times. Babies can't use force to get what they want, unlike Roman emperors who give orders and expect nations to move. The Hebrew prophet Isaiah said this. He said, "For a child is being born to us, a son given to us. Authority rests on his shoulders, and he is named Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." The prophecies in Isaiah and the gospel accounts of Jesus' birth are God's astonishing response to all the things that would destroy love, that would dampen hope, that stand in the way of peace and justice, humanity, dignity, and joy. Jesus' birth is the answer to the things that would try to convince us that God is somehow removed or remote or uninterested in your life or mine. That God is out of touch with the brokenness and pain of our world. The Christmas story, as Luke tells it and as Mike read it, reminds us that how God's love breaks through. How God's love defies a world that makes so many people vulnerable and powerless. How it defies a world too busy and distracted for the most part to care. In Jesus, God steps right into that space. This will be a sign for you. And the thing is, that sign is still needed today. And we who seek to walk in the footsteps of Jesus are called to be that sign, to continue that story. As our lives are touched and changed, transformed, renewed, challenged, inspired, loved, overwhelmed by Jesus, we're called to be a sign to our world. The world of our workplace, our family, our church, our local community, our friendship networks. We're called to be a sign that Christ is alive and well, that God is with us, and God is with those we come into contact with. See, a sign points towards something, but it is also something in and of itself. Jesus comes into this world out of love, not just any old love, but God's love. And love was and ever will be the key of Jesus' life. It's love that brings him into our world as the babe of Bethlehem, as John the 23rd mentioned. It's love that leads him to value the unlovable, the powerless. It's love that leads him to die on the cruelest of crosses for our sake. Love. Jesus shows us what love is all about, and yet 2,000 years on, we're still learning to love one another as Christ loves us. We're still learning to embrace Jesus' way. That love, though, it calls us to look at the world with the eyes of God. It calls us to be snippets for God. Signposts for God. To point to the love and hope and peace that is God in Jesus Christ. It calls us to be love. To look at one another with compassion and understanding and mercy, rather than fear and judgment and anger. It calls us to offer forgiveness to those that wrong us, rather than seek revenge. It calls us to reach out, rather than shut down. It calls us to see the world with eyes that can envision peace and justice on earth, and goodwill among people, all people. That's why this birth is so remarkable. There's a section in The Lord of the Rings, speaking as Gandalf, J.R.R. Tolkien. He writes this, it's Gandalf speaking, but it's Tolkien's thoughts. Evil believes it is only a great power that can hold evil in check. But that's not what I found. I have found that it's small everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay. Small acts of kindness and love. Mother Teresa said it differently. She said, we can't all do great things, but we can do small things with great love. And that changes the world. You know, it's funny, one of the great privileges of my role throughout the year is I have been hearing on and off all year of people who have offered simple acts of kindness that have carried way more importance than other people would have, or than anyone would have imagined. Things like, and when you talk to them about it, they say, oh, it's just a note, or it was just a bunch of flowers, or a phone call. All I did was listen. But those simple acts stay with people because they were done with love. And that love takes on a life of its own, and it changes the world around us. Lets the light shine a little bit more brightly. Makes the dark a little less threatening. To those fearful shepherds, the angel promises a sign that the Saviour is born among humanity. And so they take notice of the sign. They know no other option but to go to the place that the Lord made known to them. When they get there, they find a baby. Christ is born, the Messiah. And we celebrate that with joy this day. So may you and may I, may each one of us be wonderful signposts, not only this afternoon, but every day. Wonderful signposts to the reality of Christ. Emmanuel, God with us. He comes to us today as God does 2,000 years ago, not from a position of religious or political strength, but in the ordinary places of our lives, our places of work, our homes. Jesus comes not as a decree, but as a person, not as a powerful leader, but with childlike hands held out to us this day. Can you hear the angels? This will be a sign. My prayer for you today, our prayer for you today is may you go from this place like the shepherds long ago, returning to your homes, glorifying and praising God because you've encountered the one who enters into our humanity, because you've encountered Emmanuel, God with us. And may you be a sign